Welcome back to Season 2, Episode 1 of Life Beyond Loss, the podcast. Now, if you listened to Season 1, then you will know that this is a guest show where we share the most amazing and inspirational stories of navigating grief and loss through to healing and transformation. I'm your host, Louise Creswick, grief and loss coach. And to kick off Season 2, I'm talking to the lovely Jaime Cox about job redundancy or job loss. Now, we don't always recognise losing a job, particularly a lifelong career, as a loss, but it absolutely is. We grieve for the normality that we've been used to, and it can be a challenging journey to navigate as well. This is why I was so pleased that Jaime has chosen to share her experience and, perhaps more importantly, how we can deal with such significant changes to our life. We talk about fear, developing confidence and everything in between. So stay tuned for some great tips on job loss. Actually, Jaime, I forgot to say, you are my very first guest at the start of Season 2. I know, Season 2 on the podcast. So I'm joined today by Jaime Cox, who's a senior copywriter and editor, and she specialises as well in digital content, which sounds like really glamorous, Jaime.
It's not.
It does sound really glamorous. But tell us just a little bit, very briefly for the audience about who you are, a bit of your background.
Okay, so digital content is essentially just the internet. I just live and breathe the internet. So I spend a lot of my time working on people's websites, making improvements, improving the language, helping usability, that kind of thing, and social media as well. So obviously a big part of marketing for any business now is social media. So we need to make sure that website and the social media is all tied up. So I spend a lot of my time online, also blogging and writing for clients. So yes, I do spend a lot of time online, too long probably. But I am also married and have 3 children. Bit of a strange age gap. So I've got 12-year-old identical twins and a little girl who is just about 2. Bit of an age gap.
Yeah, so you have a very busy life then.
Yes, and I've basically got the start of the teens and the terrible 2s at the same time. So life is very busy. So it's setting up my own business and doing that as well. It's there's never a dull moment.
Oh my gosh, what do you do to keep your sanity?
I'd sing. I go to the cinema a lot. I drink gin. That's about it.
I love that. Yeah, big fan of. Anyway, we met
as well.
We met in a sort of a networking sort of group, didn't we? Girl Tribe Gang, which is fabulous. And we sort of got talking about, I was sort of putting it out there about, sort of different types of loss, because it's not always about, losing a loved one. We'll experience loss from all different kind of angles. And we got talking and I was really, really interested in, your story. So would you like to just share a little bit about, your story and what the loss sort of means for you?
Yeah, it feels a bit wrong to call it loss when you think of it compared to things like grieving. But early 2018, I was on maternity leave with the little one and suddenly was made redundant from the job that I'd been in for 15 years. So it was a massive shock. Obviously 15 years in the same company, I was doing a variety of roles, but in the same company, I just it was like a family. So being cut off from that and like being made redundant, and while you're on maternity leave, when a lot of us find our confidence is an all-time low after having a baby, it was just a huge shock. It did feel like a loss, especially I think the colleagues, actually, because as much as I came to terms very quickly with leaving the business, it was the fact that I'd worked with a lot of these people for, 10 years, around 10 years. And it's that missing that day-to-day contact with them, and the culture and the friendships I'd made there. And because once you leave a job, it's never the same. You can still meet up with people, but it's never the same. So I did, it did feel like a big loss. And I went through the classic, kind of anger, and then massive fear about change, fear of the unknown, fear of how I was going to earn some money. So it did take a while to come around from that.
Yeah, interesting you picked up on the fear aspect there, because I do think that fear is something that plays a huge role, certainly in the clients that I've worked with around job loss as well. Just tell us a little bit about, can you expand on that? Kind of what was that like for you?
Well, I do suffer from anxiety as well, so it's probably that. I think that exacerbated the whole thing. And I was just it's all tied up with the lack of confidence, the fear of everything, the fear of the unknown, the fear of change. If you're lacking confidence in your own abilities, you're just frightened and think you're not going to be able to make a living, or you're not going to be able to go on your own. You're not going to be able to be independent. Won't be able to make a success of anything. So I think the fear and the confidence thing go hand in hand, and I had to tackle both of those together, really.
Yeah. So talk us through what did you do then? How did you kind of handle this then at the time?
I've got a very strong family. I think that helped an awful lot. Talking to people, I think, was the best thing. So obviously talking to my friends and my support network about what I was going through. But also I went online and actually found loads of people that had been in the same situation as me. That helped enormously, just that sharing and that feeling that you're not alone. That I got a great support network online from that. And then gradually from that started to build my confidence. As I said, I think the two things go hand in hand. So once you've started to conquer the fear, you can start to work on the confidence. And that it sort of gave me the impetus to start getting out there a bit more. So early January, I went to a local confidence workshop. And that was amazing, because I met so many people that I thought, and people from my community as well, that I'd seen and I was aware of, and I thought, oh, you're really awesome and you're really strong and you're doing fantastic things, and didn't realise that they were all lacking confidence as well. So to meet other people in the same situation was so reassuring, and I made some more friends there, and that led on to other things. And then I thought, well, I've done that, I've survived that, I can go and do some more things and meet some more people, and then it starts to build momentum.
Yeah, like a snowball effect, isn't it?
Yeah, each time you do something like that, it helps the confidence and it adds that little bit more, and then you can go and do something else, and then that adds a bit more, and snowball's a good analogy.
And I think also there's probably something about staying open to, opportunities as well, because when you go along to something like that, you just never know who you're going to meet and, where it kind of might lead. Did that
exactly? Yes, completely. Yeah, I totally relate to that. So if you're suffering from the fear and you're still in that stage, you're kind of too scared to go to these things. But once you go to the first one, you realise that it just helps you start to open up. You're exactly right. And then you realise that there's all sorts of opportunities out there, and if you go out and meet people and go to these things, you will find them. Definitely.
So where did it lead for you then? So you went along to a few of these things, and then what happened next?
Well, the one sort of defining moment, I was very lucky. A former colleague rang me up and said, "Oh, are you going freelance?" And I sort of thought, okay, yep, say yes to this, say yes. Went along with it, and that led to a big chunk of work that kick-started the whole thing, really, because that then gave me the confidence to think, okay, I can go freelance, I can do this. And that snowball thing carried on, so that had a great experience working for that client. Really boosted my confidence and reassured me that I was actually valuable, and that then gave me the confidence to go to more things. And then the ultimate the ultimate step was going to a networking event. It was like, that's something that had always terrified me, and I'm not salesy at all. I love what I do and I'm really good at what I do, but I'm not good at selling myself. And I was just, the thought of being in a room with all these people who were all salesy, and I just dreaded it. But I went along to the first one. Everyone was actually really lovely and very supportive. Met a few lovely people there. And then after that, I met a few people online who told me about Girl Tribe Gang, so I went along to that one, and then that was great. I just felt like coming home. I think once you've got a good fit, because there's so many different networking groups and so many different types and different times, and you just got to find one that fits with you. So they're not all how I expected them to be. There are a couple that are definitely like that, but you find one that you like and that suits you. It can be amazing. It's just having that support network as much as anything else.
Yeah, I can relate to that as well. This year was the year that I decided I was going to start getting out there. And I've tried a few different kind of styles of networking groups.
Yes.
And definitely Girl Tribe Gang was the one that kind of so far has been it for me. It's been brilliant. Sort of a relaxed atmosphere. But yeah, it's but it's interesting, isn't it, about that fear again, about how we sort of make it out to be far worse than it kind of is.
Yes.
In reality, in our mind, it's like, oh my God, it's going to be this, and this, and it's almost like we've got this crystal ball out. And
it's that thing. It's the thought is worse than the deed every single time, and it's just having faith in that and belief in that, because it's true.
Yeah. Do you think you always knew deep down somewhere that you wanted to work for yourself, even when you were in employment?
Well, people had suggested it to me so many times over the years, and they said, you've got exactly the right skill set to work for yourself. You don't need to, escape from the office politics and go it alone. And I just didn't have, I didn't have the confidence to, and it's until my hand was forced, really. And I think part of that is just my inherent anxiety. So I just didn't think that the freelance lifestyle would suit that mindset that I'm always battling with, and that lack of confidence. I thought to be in a job where you don't have sick pay, you don't have security, you don't have constant salary, I just thought that won't work for me. I won't be able to deal with that very well. So until I was forced into it, really. And then the phone call of fate from my old contact, the two things together, I'd never have thought I had it in me.
It's interesting, isn't it? Because I have anxiety as well, and how much that I call it the anxiety voice, kind of like it can be quite, just like very dooming in a way, and it's sort of those thoughts creep in, but actually slowly over time, just starting to learn to listen more to my intuition as well, and that's a very different kind of voice, a very different thought process, isn't it, as well, when you listen to that intuition. And
it's very hard to tune into that, though, if you're used to being sort of the negative self-talk takes over.
It absolutely is. And when I look back now over my time in my kind of corporate days, I realised that intuition had been there all along, but I hadn't listened to it. Or I hadn't heard it over the other noise.
I think it gets stifled, especially when you are just kind of stuck in that corporate environment. It doesn't suit everyone, that culture, and it stifles creativity. And I think it also can, it definitely can cause problems with that as well.
Yeah, I agree, especially if you're the sort of creative type. So how has it changed your life then, like now working for yourself?
It's changed it beyond recognition, really. It's bizarre, isn't it, when you look back with hindsight and you just think it's the whole cliche, everything happens for a reason, but it seems to have all worked out well. I'm just so much happier and so much more fulfilled. I'm not earning as much, but there's more to life than money, and realising that was a big lesson as well.
Yeah, that is definitely a huge life lesson, the whole actually in reality what are the things that make us happy, and a bit of soul searching on that one I think is needed for people. But it's sometimes not until you come out of it, is it, that you realise.
Exactly. So I think actually, the fact I've been working with so many different people, I've never have got to work with a variety of people that I'm working with in my old job, and I wouldn't have been able to have such an impact, because I feel like I can really make a difference with the clients. I'm working one-to-one with them, and I'm really helping them and really boosting their business and making a real difference. And I'm having that feedback as well directly from them, without sort of the noise and the politics in an office and the empire building and the interference and the committees and all of that. It's so great to just be in direct contact with someone and actually help them and get amazing feedback. It just does wonders.
Yeah, I'm giggling because I can I can really relate to that, doing things by committee and the sort of the lengthy process. And actually it is nice to just be able to get out of bed and think, I'm going to make an impact today.
I didn't realise how different it would feel, and how, I just didn't realise it's phenomenal. It's brilliant.
So I guess what I'm really curious to know then is kind of what overall do you think you might have taken from that kind of experience around redundancy? Is there any kind of, I don't know, sort of lessons around that you've learned, or what have you been able to do with that experience?
I think it's another cliche, but to have faith in myself and faith in life, and something will always work out, and things do happen for a reason often, and it's that, one door closes, another door opens. I hate all these cliches, but it's true. Actually, it's made me think to just not panic and to just have faith, take my time, take baby steps, allow myself to feel that way, but know that it will get better.
Yeah, I love the cliches. Oh, you'll find loads of them on my page. But yeah, because I think actually, though, those cliches are, you're right, they are cliches, but they do resonate with people, don't they? And, they do speak to people. And like you say, giving yourself time and space, not panicking is a huge one, because I think when people get that news of redundancy, the initial kind of reaction from most people is to just panic about the security, the future, the money, all the things, and just get into that. And I think we can get stuck in that if we're not careful. And then just, I suppose when I think about it as well, if I'd have just stayed in that panic mode, I might not have started my business either, because I might have just gone out and got the next best thing that I could.
Yes.
Yeah. Does that resonate with you?
Definitely. I spent ages signing up for job emails and whatnot, and asking contacts about jobs, and thinking that might be that maybe I should just jump into another job. Thank God I didn't, because the thought of going back to that life now does not appeal. Yeah,
there's definitely something to be said about just taking a step back and just kind of, giving yourself that space and just let it sink in, but, sort of just go with the flow a little bit more.
Definitely, because it might be, if you actually do genuinely take time and sit back and think and review what you're good at, what you enjoy, and actually use this as a point of kind of overall review, you might end up changing career. I mean, look at it as an opportunity. You have to go through the grieving bit first, but when you're ready, it's a great opportunity for looking at everything and actually genuinely looking at what you are good at, what you enjoy, and whether you are in the right job and the right career, and whether it's an opportunity to change.
Yes, I love that. Opportunity is definitely a key word. And another cliche for you. I think there's a quote out there, I'm not sure who was by now, but just says it's something about creating opportunity, and if opportunity doesn't knock, then build the door.
Yeah.
So I really love that. So have you got any kind of like tips then that we could maybe sort of offer people that might have just had this news, or maybe they're anticipating redundancy now?
Number one, definitely don't panic, is what I've learned. Yep. Give yourself time. take baby steps when you've decided what you do want to do. Don't rush everything and suddenly feel like you've got to change the world overnight and feel overwhelmed. I think say yes to things. I know it's difficult, it's really challenging, but just say yes to things that you wouldn't normally say yes to. All of these things help build your confidence. Really, really do everything you can to work on your confidence, and get out and about and meet people. All of these things will help.
Yes, get out your jammies.
Yeah.
Get out of your pajamas and yeah, just get out there. And
Yeah.
you just never know, I guess, who you're going to meet or what's going to happen.
Exactly.
Fabulous, Jamie. I'm so pleased that that's gone really, really quickly today. I'm really, really pleased that you were able to come on there and just share your wisdom and your experience. And
thanks.
It's really interesting that you started off by saying that actually it doesn't feel like this was a loss, but then actually went on to describe, some of those things that you felt were then missing. And I guess for me, that's kind of what loss is about, when we start to feel what's missing in our lives. So thank you for that. And where can people find you as well if they're in need of some, specialised digital content advice or copywriting or whatever?
Well, you'll find me on Facebook, Jaime Cox, but it's spelt a very strange way, Jaime. My company's Compelling Copy UK, so you'll find me Facebook, Twitter, Google, LinkedIn. Hook up with me on LinkedIn if you'd like. All the usual places.
And I would encourage you to go and check out Jamie's Facebook page because it's hilarious. in a positive way. I should just probably explain that, shouldn't I now? But there's posts about asking people to kind of identify the grammar faux pas and things like that are just really, really funny. They make me giggle.
Oh, thank you.
So thank you anyway, and look forward to chatting with you again soon.
Great, thanks for having me on.